Hey everyone, for today's video, I'll be guiding you over how to build the Laevatain, or Lae, who is the best DPS in Arknights Endfield. I'll briefly be going over her kits and potential, as well as her best gears, weapons, and teams. Starting off with her kits, she's a powerful, heat-based character who will dominate in multi-target scenarios. She wants for her allies to apply as many heat inflictions as possible, because she wants to use her ultimate as much as possible. You see, Lae's ultimate is extremely powerful, since it has a large AoE, and it lasts for a long time, making it best suited for multiple waves of enemies. But her ultimate costs a whopping 300 energy, which is around 3 times the normal amount of energy a character needs for an ultimate. Thus, if you want to consistently use this powerful ultimate, you're gonna want to monetize on the energy that Lae's kit provides. Do you want to buy more aura geometry to play Arknights Endfield with the best characters, but you don't want to spend too much money? Well, then you're just in luck, because here's what I've been using lately: Lubar.gg, the most affordable and safest in-game purchase discount platform on the market. Lubar.gg offers up to 26% off in-game purchases. Their in-game purchases are 16% cheaper than the official and 10% cheaper when using their new users coupon. To save on your top-ups, go to Lubar.gg, then choose a bundle, then log into your account in a single-used cloud device. Redeem the pack you purchased in-game just like the official top-up, then log out and your data will be cleared automatically. Now, Lubar.gg is trusted by other content creators like Storm and Seal, and that has a 4.9 rating on Trustpilot alongside a bunch of 5-star reviews. So if you want to save up to 26% off when topping up, go to Lubar.gg by clicking the link in the pinned comment or description. Now, Lae's kit works like this. When the active character uses their final strike or a finisher on an enemy with heat inflictions, she will consume up to 4 heat inflictions and convert them up to 4 melting flame stacks. Once she has 4 melting flame stacks, her attacks ignore a ton of the enemy's heat resistance, and she can use her battle skill to forcibly apply the combustion arts reaction effect onto enemy targets to restore ultimate energy. Then, because she forcibly applied the combustion arts reaction effect, she'll be able to use her combo skill, which provides melting flame stacks and even more ultimate energy based on how many enemies were hit with her combo skill. Then she's gonna want to constantly use her ultimate enhanced basic attacks, so that she can do a ton of AoE damage and so that she can apply more burn inflictions, which will allow her to use an enhanced ultimate battle skill. Thus, Lae's rotation will typically go like this. She's gonna want to inflict 4 heat inflictions, convert them into 4 melting flame stacks with a final strike or finisher, use her battle skill, then use her combo skill, preferably against multiple enemies, so that she can get a ton of energy for her costly but powerful ultimate, and so that she can get more melting flame stacks. Then, once you've regenerated enough ultimate energy, which you should be able to do after around 2 rotations, you use your ultimate and spam normal attacks and her enhanced battle skills. You can also start your rotation slightly differently if you're using Ardelia. You can simply start your rotation off with a final strike on an enemy that doesn't have vulnerability or an arts infliction, then use Ardelias' combo skill to apply corrosion, so that Lae can use her combo skill, then start your normal rotation. For her skill priorities, prioritize leveling up her ultimate or battle skill, then her combo skill, then her basic attacks. You should do this because the majority of her damage comes from her ultimate's enhanced basic attacks and enhanced battle skill. Her combo skill does a decent chunk of damage, and her basic attacks do a very small percentage of her overall damage. For her gears, she's gonna want the Hot Work set, because it provides 30 arts intensity, which only increases her really small combustion damage, but it also provides 50 heat damage when causing the combustion arts reaction, which will increase her damage tremendously. The individual Hot Work set pieces also provide a ton of heat damage, up to 30.7% when adding them all up, and the kit provides 41.4% battle skill damage, which is going to be really powerful with her ultimate enhanced battle skill. For your flex slot, you're gonna want the Lynx Slab, since it provides 20.7% more intellect, which is her main stats. She can also run the Redeemer Seal, since it provides 25.7% ultimate gain efficiency, which would be good for her costly ultimate. For an alternative, the Tide Surge set would be the next best, because it provides ultimate gain efficiency, which will be good for her costly ultimate, and it provides a ton of basic attack damage, which will be really good because the majority of her damage comes from her ultimate's enhanced enhanced basic attacks. It also provides 20% skill damage, which will be good for her enhanced ultimate battle skill, and it provides 35% arts damage dealt, which is a standard multiplier that'll be good for pretty much every character, including Lei. For the flex slot, you'll want the hot work gloves because they provide heat damage, but the external Sirenite gloves would also be good because they provide more ultimate gain efficiency. For an alternative, the MI security set would also be decent because it provides around 25% attack and a ton of crit rates. For another alternative, the Mordvolt installation set would also be good because it increases her intellect, which is her main stat that provides her with more attack than other stats, and it increases her arts damage by 20 if she has 80% or more HP. For another alternative, the armored MSGR set would also be good because it increases her strength, which is her secondary stat that also increases her attack more than other stats, but to a lesser extent. For other alternatives, any gear or gear set that provides crits, which is one of the most important stats in the game, intellect or strength, which are her main and secondary stats, arts damage, or ultimate gain efficiency for her costly ultimate would all be good. For the weapons, her signature will be the best because it provides a bunch of intellect, a bunch of attack percentage, a good amount of heat damage, and a massive amount of basic attack damage, which will allow this sword to increase her damage by around 40% more than your average sword. But the Battle Pass sword, aka the Umbral Touch, also increases her intellect by a lot. It doesn't provide as much attack percentage, but it does provide double the heat damage, and it increases her heat damage even more when the combustion or corrosion arts reaction is applied to the enemy, which will allow the sword to increase her damage by around 30% more than your average sword, so it'll be a powerful alternative to her signature. For another alternative, the White Knight Nova would be a decent alternative since it provides a ton of intellect, similarly to the other swords, and it provides a ton of arts damage, but that's really all it provides. It provides a ton of arts intensity, but the stat is pretty worthless on Lei, since only a small percentage of her damage comes from the damage dealt from arts reactions and bursts. Thus, even though the sword is the next best alternative, it'll only increase her damage by around 10% more than your typical sword. For her teams, she'll want to be ran with characters that can apply heat inflictions, can forcibly apply combustion or erosion, can lower heat resistances or apply heat susceptibility, can increase skill points, can sustain the team, or can apply heat amp. Thus, characters like Wolfguard, Anto, Ardelia, and Akekuri would be her best teammates. For Wolfguard can apply a ton of heat inflictions because he can use his battle and combat skill consecutively to apply 2 heat inflictions. He can also forcibly apply the combustion effect onto enemies with his AoE ultimate, which will let Lei use her combat skill without having to first collect 4 melting flame stacks. For Anto will be able to apply a 1 minute long heat susceptibility debuff onto one enemy, which will make it so that the enemy takes more heat damage from Lei's attacks. Now, even though his heat susceptibility is really good in single target scenarios because of its long duration, it's actually pretty bad in AoE scenarios because the long lasting debuff gets removed once the enemy is defeated, and because the debuff is single target. Thus, even though his heat susceptibility debuff can be really powerful in AoE scenarios, aka in Lei's best scenarios, it won't be too significant. He can also apply heat amp to allies, which will let allies do more heat damage, and he has general support capabilities like healing and skill point recovery. For Ardelia, she can heal and forcibly apply the corrosion status effect onto enemies with her combat skill, which will allow Lei to use her combo skill without first having to collect 4 melting flame stacks. She can also apply an arts susceptibility debuff, which will allow everyone to do more arts damage. For Akekuri, she'll be able to apply heat inflictions with her battle skill, which can apply multiple heat inflictions when damaging multiple enemies, meaning that her battle skills' heat infliction can be better than Wolfguard's single target battle skills' heat infliction if you're able to hit multiple enemies with it. She can also provide a ton of skill points with her combo skill and ultimate. For her potential, her P1 provides 1/5 of a skill bar when using her battle skill, and that increases her battle skill damage by 20%, which are 2 really bad buffs because the degree of these buffs is low, and because the subjects of these buffs aren't important, since she mostly does basic attack damage. Thus, this potential will only increase her damage by around 3%. For her P2, it increases her intellect by 20 and basic attack damage by 15%, which are decent buffs since the subjects of the buffs are good, but the degree of them is mediocre. Thus, this potential will only increase her damage by around 7%. For her P3, it increases the duration and damage of her forced combustion effect artifact by 50%, which will only increase her DPS by around 5%, which is even lower than her P2. For her P4, it reduces the cost of her ultimate by 15%, meaning that her ultimate cost goes from 300 to 255, which is a massive difference that will increase her damage by around 15%. For her P5, it increases her ultimate's basic attack damage by 20%, and it extends the duration of her ultimate, which will be a massive buff that will let her be way better in multi-wave scenarios, and that will increase her damage by around 10%. For my investment recommendations, you should definitely go for her signature, since it increases her DPS by around 40%, while her P1 and P2 only increase her DPS by around 10% in total. But I would recommend going for the Umbral Touch if you can, since it increases her DPS by only around 10% less than her signature. Now, should you summon on Laevatain? Well, in my opinion, because the game just released, there's a very likely possibility that Lae will be power crept in a couple of months. But even if that's the case, which is hard to know because it is merely speculation, Lae is still the best DPS during the initial launch of the game, hands down. Thus, if you want to annihilate all of the early game and early end game enemies, then Laevatain is definitely for you. But saving for other future characters simply because they have potential is also a viable option, since you can still clear early and end game content if you don't have Lae. Anyways, that's all I've got for today. If you've enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe. If you have anything to say, please leave it down in the comments below. I would greatly appreciate it. Goodbye.